G'day guys, it's the Chevy man. He's back for another episode of working with the Chevys. And what I'm doing today, I'm doing a favour for a mate of mine that we're assembling his vent window for the Tri-5. His is actually a 57 4-door hardtop that we're going to assemble all the quarter vents. So I said I'll do it for him, and he's a good mate of mine, and we like to show you guys on YouTube how I do it, and if it might help you. There's a couple of little things that people don't realise and are not aware of. I've done enough of them, you know. I've got 5 of my own 57 Chevy, so you know I know I'm backwards, but I've always done a little bit different sometimes, especially now that my hands are not working as good as they used to. I've got to try to not force and do things. I'll make it as easy as possible for myself as you get older. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're going to show you how it's done my way from the Chevy man. So I like to lay out all the parts that I need for the vent frame assembly. So I know I've got everything here. So you clean everything up, and you start with your glass. That's what I'm going to assemble the glass onto the frames using that rubber. Put it in there, soak it in kerosene, and you push it in there and you cut the excess off. Then you're going to I'm going to put these stainless pieces which go on the inner and outer of the frame. Then you put the rubbers onto the frame. Right, I've got this whole piece has got to be cut and notched out up the top and drilled, and then I've got to drill this spot or what do you call it, rivets out, and put the 2 bolts in there and a couple of bolts down there that hold this felt channel to run the glass down, and got a couple there to make up, so I've just got to cut them down and make it all up, and we'll show you how it goes best I can. These are the same, like I said, for a 55, 56, 57 2-door coupe and 4-door hardtop and 56, 57. Exact same vent assembly setup. So yeah, get into it now. Now we're going to fit the glass onto the frame. What you need is this rubber. It's a special rubber that you put in kerosene, and you wrap it in around it, and then it swells. That's the size that normally is right for this application for the frame. So have you got that? And yeah, we're gonna go that way. And then see the glass, there's a couple of little tips, you know, like this glass that you buy cut already has got a bit of a cutout. See that shape there? That shape there. And this side is straight. So the cutout is that sort of shape there is designed to fit under that lockism. See, the inside has got a bit of a thicker area, so it needs to go in there to sit in there. So when you slide it down, it's got a bit of play side to side for the rubber, and it sits in nicely up the top, both ends. It'll probably end up being proud out because of the rubber on the bottom. And yeah, that's a little tip. If you're not sure what that shape is, that's the bottom. And using that rubber, we are going to install the glass. Okay, I'm just preparing the rubbers, and I've wrapped them around, cutting the ends off so you get the quarter piece out, little piece out of there. And that's that bit there you take out, and that gives you the angle, see? The angle of the makes it nice and easy. I've already wrapped this one up. I've done it all to probably think, what has he done? Well, to get all the shape right, you know? So you and then when I put it in Kero, dunk it in Kero or brush it, I'll slide it into the frame like that. It's already got the shape. It's already formed that shape. Makes life easier. Bit of mucking around, but it's worth it in the end. Okay, what we do, we put a bit of Kero on here. Just make it slide in easier. All right, and then you just put a bit of Kero around all the rubber. Soften it up. Yep. The shape's already formed, so it's easy to get in. You know, one hand, push down. Hopefully, I'll get it done in one shot. Hopefully, it's a messy job, as you can see. It gets all over the place. This Kero, but you know, I like to have it lubricated, and then the Kero will just make it do its own thing. Yep. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to try to fit that. Get the right one. In there, in there. So you've got the shape already. Oop, there it goes. And just push it down. Just push it right down. That made it slide a bit easier. And just with a bit of persuader, you use a bit of the mallet to get it down. I'll put it on a harder surface, I think, because it's bouncing around here. And I'll show you how. And that's the other one I just done. And you just cut off all the excess. See, it's even the rubber on either sides because I had it shaped. And then I'll just cut all this excess off, all that excess off there, and clean it all up with Kero. And meanwhile, I've put some more Kero on it to say that it's well, to actually make it swell up, you know, and just let it sit and dry out, and then I'll cut it. Okay. Well, this is the furring channel that we're going to be cutting and to fit onto the track here. This is for the glass to slide up and down. What I normally do, I cut a bit of a slot there and there. Just take those pieces off. So this will end up here, but it overhangs to about the center of this screw here. So when you've got it in there, and it's just a matter of marking it out just on the edge here, I'll go to the center of the screw, that end, and I'll just mark on the ends here where it's going to be, see? And then the other end, well, I'll just cut the length because it's a little bit, probably about an inch longer. I'll just cut it off there to make it square so it doesn't overhang. And then I'll drill my 2 holes through there, 4 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 holes to hold it down. And yeah, I'll show you the reason why when it's finished. Normally, I just cut it with the tool there, just zoom, bang. It's easier, squarer, instead of, you can do it snips, but it flares the ends off and that. So just a clean cut, it's good. That's all you need, just that little tag to hide it all. Right? Now we're going to drill the holes. Okay, we'll drill the holes through the felt, through the frame to the felt. So that way you've got a hole right through. Yep. Just line it all up. Pretty soft. That's it there. And the other one will be there. That's it. So it's all drilled out there through the felt. Yeah, and I'll just take that bolt and take another, do another hole, and that's done. Well, there you go. I've cut the bits out, so they're right up against the edge here, and there's that overlapping bit of metal that leaps out. Drilled all my holes, the holes at the back, and then they'll be bolted down with just, you can pop ribbon, but I'm going to use these screws. They supply them with you, and good taper on them, and you could just bolt them down. And the reason for that little tag hanging out is it makes it easy for your end cap, which sits behind it, and see how it fits in there nicely in the end. It just it finishes it off, sort of thing, because it goes halfway down. I don't know if you can see that. I've got this camera now pointing down, and it sits better, I think, with that glass sliding up, and you don't see the end of the screw, and it's darker inside, and it just runs all the way up. So that's how you do the felt channel. Okay, we're going to put these two stainless pieces on the face of the of this part of the vent window. I've removed the two pot rivets here because we're going to bolt them together. So here it is here. You can see clearly. So on these stainless steel pieces, you've got an open end, and you've got a sort of closed end here. So that closed end there is going to go on the top, and actually the open end will be down the side. So what we're going to do, we're going to fit that on, and just put the top end up here. So you could see it, just right on the edge, and then you just roll it, roll the clip in there. So, and that's it. It just start on this edge and just roll it round that way, and she's in. That's all it's holding by, and you got to just make sure that this end here is right up. Now, the other side, you got the same. You got an open end, see, and it's a closed end. So that goes on the top. So you put that. Now I'll just put it upright like this, so you could see what I'm doing roughly. If I could hold the camera and have two hands operating. Slide it down. We've got to slide this down, and once we get it in, it'll just go straight down, and it'll bottom hit the top where we said here. See, that's a close end, both close in, and that's your two stainless pieces on both sides. Yep, I pull this, so I'm going to put the rubber on, easy to go through that way and around, and then I'll clamp that back together again with the two bolts here, with the furring channel here. That's the next step. Okay, we're going to attempt to put this rubber onto this frame now. You got to remember, you've got to go the right way. So the flat face of the rubber faces the outside of the car, because that's where it seals the window when it shuts, seals on the inside, and it turns into this groove there. So that flat area here is the outside of the car. So now what we're going to do, we've got this, if you look at these, they've got like a channel in them all the way up, and that's where this rubber has got to sit and hook into. So what I do, normally start from this end, and I'll just push it up into there. Let me see, we'll get this right around. You just got it into the groove, both sides. Now you just got to slide it through here. Yeah, slide it all the way up, and then just snap it around the end of it, because there's an end of the rubber. There you go, just about there. There you go, that's how the end fits, like that. And so you got that channel there, just slide it up and lock it into there so it sits nice, snug underneath, like that. And then you start doing the end, the sides. Well, what I do, I normally pinch the corner, get the corner, and I get one side in first, and then pull it round, and it should go in. If not, you might have to get I don't like using screwdrivers, because you can puncture the rubber, but if you get one side in, like that, one side up over this side, and then you get this, I've got this plastic tool, comes from Rubber Connection, and then you just tuck it all in, start tucking all in on the way down, all the way down. Once you get one side on, and just pull it round, all the way down, and complete the way down, and complete the whole lot. Yep, that last bit, just get it in there, and that's it. I've just rolled it. Most of I've done it by hand, not even with the tool. You just push it on one side and roll it in, and it snaps in. You can see how it finishes off right at the end of the, it's like a rubber bit that stops. I don't know if you can see that there. Yeah, and that's where it finishes, right there. That U-channel that goes into, and the rubber stops right there. What you've got to do is you've got to keep working on this rubber to push it back in this corner here. Push it back into this corner, so this ends up being a nice fit over here. Otherwise it would be too long. You just roll it down, because it's going to slide in its channel, and not a problem. Now I like to pre-fit things, So if I can now try this glass in here, I'll just put it through. Oops, there we go. Better grab it the right way. And put it through the rubber, the hole there, and pre-fit it just to see how everything's going. Mock it up, like as you say, mock the thing up, get it all in, and then over this side you lift up this bit, and you look for the hole. The hole sometimes could be a bit tricky, because there might be some rubber still not quite drilled out properly, and you've got to sort of make sure that hole's clear, and see it, that's in there now. So then, once you've got that up, you push this back into position here, line it up there, and then close that door there, window frame. Seems like it's sitting okay. seems like it's sealing okay all the way around. When we screw it back on to the other frame bit, that'll pull that up and pull it in, so that way that pin in the window rubber, well, that's how it's supposed to move. It's supposed to be light. Might put some lubrication in that pinhole, but just a bit of you put anything, Vaseline, or you even just a bit of rubber grease, you know, just to make swing a bit easier there, and then we'll mount this back on, so it keeps it all together. Like that, keeps it all together. Fold it back there. Yep, and we'll put that other track in there actually. Yep, we've got to do that. We've got to put this other track rubber seal in here. So, yep. Well, here we have the rubber seal for the end of the glass there. And if you notice, there's a right and left side. It doesn't tell you on this kit, but you can see this step here, that bit of a step there. Well, that's designed to sit where this bit of, they made that step for there. So when it goes in there, it sits flat, you know, that little step for that bit of metal. So that's the side that you've got to use for, and this is the driver side, the passenger side we're doing. And so that's how it's going to sit. So what I normally do, see the slots, there's little slots in here, and you put them in there, and you know, just sit it in that groove there. So that way the rubber, see what I mean? It's a little bit. Yep. Reposition my camera so you could see, but you can see what I mean by just there. Sits inside that channel. The rubber's got like a little spot for it to sit in there, so it seals. And the same for this end here. It sits in there. Now that's, of course, is going to be all pushed up when it's in. So when I get this one, see all these pins here, they're going to line up to these holes underneath. All these pins here, see, will go through, and then you fold them over. So that'll go in like that, and you'll see the pins coming through. I'll put a screw up this end, and they will line up the pins in there, and I'll fold them over. I'll put that screw in, I'll line them up, fold them over, and then I'll put the bolts through here. Just got to push it that way a bit more so it seals up in here. Yeah, it's hard with a camera. There you go. I've put that rubber on the inside. That's where the glass stops. And I had to, I put one bolt back in over here so the whole frame stays together. And you can see the tags, how they're bent over. They're all been bent over, right? And just put that bolt in there just to hold it all together. So and now I'll have to take that out because I've got this to go in, and the other bolts go through there. Yeah, so it's coming together pretty nicely. Yeah, guys, what I like to do is to make this door open nice and freely, I lubricate with Armor All or silicone rubber grease, and you know, or any silicone particle for rubber, and I put it in here, just run a little bit where the shaft runs in there, bit of silicone in there, I spray it in there, and I normally spray a little bit around, just wipe it off nicely, especially where in through the back where the shaft comes through the bottom. you know, just spray a bit in there, and then it makes it so easy to move, you know. I've locked it to say that it fits nicely, right, and it swings nice, really nice, you know. So what we see how it really is with the silicone, makes it easier. Look at that, you know, just spray it in there, in the bottom there, let it run inside a bit. Just run it in there, holes upside down, run it in there, bit of silicone, and in the bottom too. So yeah, it works really, really nicely. It makes the rubbers not grab or you know, try to pull itself around harder. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the top on it. Yeah. So the top consists of just this bit of chrome, bit of stainless, I should say, and you got this little. This is a used one. I haven't got a new one yet. But it's a new ones. They go on the end of it. You just slip it on the back of the this mould here. It sits nice and tight. It doesn't rock because we've got that extra length that we cut out before, you know, how I showed you earlier. And then this just goes over the top of it, and it seals right down. Yep. And a couple of screws, and completes the job. Actually, it's comes up nice. I'll show you. I'll put these down, these screws. Let's see if they'll bite into the rubber, because these have got to bite into the rubber, these screws. Yep, there's I am. That's it. It's got a little hole in the rubber, steel rubber, and a bit of metal in that rubber. That's it. Pull that up. Let's pull that up, and it just finishes it right off, doesn't it? See how the end cap glass will run right up and stop in there. That won't move, that won't move. And you can't see anything inside the screw with it because I've got that felt all the way up. And, you know, that silicone lube just shines up a bit and makes it softer and easy to open and close. So, that's our assembled quarter vent, ready to go in. Yeah, so that's it. That's how you install assemble a 57 or 5, 6 and 7. All three are exactly the same. The hard tops and the 4-door hard tops are exactly the same. The only difference on the 4-door hard top is that chrome stainless piece on the top. The coupes, all the 5, 6 and 7 coupes, they notch round. But the 4-door hard top's just a straight piece they go across. That's that stainless on the top where you clip in. But otherwise, the assembling system is exactly the same for all the Tri-5s. And hope you enjoyed that episode. That might help you. And yeah, I'm just working on the caddy now at the moment because sender unit started not working. I'm sure that the sender units of today, the new ones, because I put one in 5 years ago and it stopped working. I think the fuel is getting into those segments, in those resistors, and they're just starting to gung up, and it must leave the residue. So that's my job now to do, to put another sender unit in, which, you know, they're made in Taiwan and probably won't last another 5 years. Original ones last a lot longer than that. But the fuel, I reckon, must mean something. So that's my job to do, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of the quarter vent restoration for the Tri-5. And thanks for watching the Chevy Man.